There's a concept that I want to introduce to you. It's called watch and ward. This is something that happened in olden times. And the definition of it, and I'll bring it up on the screen for you to have a look at, is right here. It's continuous, unbroken vigilance and guard, or service as a watchman or sentinel required from a feudal tenant. That's the basic definition of watch and ward. And what basically used to happen, you used to get patrols of individuals within counties and shires, towns really, going around the streets, making sure that everyone was kept safe. And this was something that had been discussed in the media, where townsmen or townspeople started to do this because they felt that their areas were becoming unsafe and the police weren't exactly doing what they were supposed to be doing given the circumstances. But this whole watch and ward thing has been turned on its head for, nefarious reasons. I will say it's not the watch and ward you would think it is. And we have a population that's come into this country that has really pushed Britain and its streets to the brink, where things aren't what they really should be now. And they're trying to make sure that their version of what this area is turns into something else. Now, I want to show you this tweet here. The UK has a Sharia patrol. Ultimately, I want to see every woman covered from head to toe. Is this going to escalate in the USA too? So, a little note here. They are very serious about this and will impose Sharia upon us when they have the power. We must not allow them to continue this momentum. Otherwise, we will be screwed. That's what they're basically saying. Now, let's have a listen to this and see what gives.
In one part of town, Ramesa and his associates have set up so-called Sharia patrols to go out and discourage behavior that they deem un-Islamic.
There's some guys there.
On this night, they stopped to talk to a couple of non-Muslim men who were in a park drinking beer, which is forbidden under Islam.
So we're just reminding the community about staying safe. And in this area, there's a lot of gambling that goes on, a lot of alcohol drinking, and it leads to a lot of problems. So we advise you, and we advise anyone you see, to stay away from these things.
Get the prostitutes off our streets!
But the patrols are not always so friendly. Online clips give a very different picture. A woman in a short skirt is abused.
Vigilante cannot dress like that in Muslim area.
I'm so
We don't care if you're appalled at all.
Muslim patrol.
It's Great Britain.
This we don't care. It's not so Great Britain. You need to get out of
A
it.
man the patrol thinks is gay is insulted.
Get out of here quicker then. You're dirty, mate. You're a gay, mate. Get out of here, mate.
At night time, it turns into a very ugly place like many of the...
Walking through London with Ramesa, you experience an alternate reality where there is no compromise and all conversations are one-sided.
Ultimately, I want to see every single woman in this country covered from head to toe. I want to see the hand of the thief cut. I want to see adulterers stoned to death. I want to see Sharia law in Europe, and I want to see it in America as well. I believe our patrols are a means to an end.
The only thing I would say is that in America and in the United Kingdom, democracy,
A backwards one.
but it's a system that allows the people to choose what they want and allows people freedom.
So why can't I choose Sharia? When in Rome, overthrow Caesar, implement the Sharia.
In your home, you can do whatever you want.
But what about in the public? Why can't I tell you to cover up? Am I free to say that?
Because it would be outrageous.
So where's my freedom? Where's my freedom?
You can say it to me, but
Okay, so cover up. Wear the hijab.
It's quite disturbing, isn't it? So you get these geezers going around the town doing a particular role, and when they see something that isn't according to their beliefs, they turn around saying, "Oh, you can't do that." Now, the only part of that clip is the two fellas sitting on the bench in the park having a beer. Now, if it was any normal circumstance, you could imagine two old Bill going up to them and saying, "Look, fellas, we know you're just sitting here having a drink, but be careful of this, that, and the other, and everything that goes on. Stay safe, kind of thing. If it was the old Bill, you could just imagine that happening, couldn't you? But you look at some of the situation with that particular piece of video that I showed you there, and what they're basically saying is the idea of these patrols is to turn this area into our area. I don't think so. Look how they approached that lady halfway through. Now, what the reporter or presenter spoke about at the end was, you basically can't do this here because of people's freedom of choice. He said, but what about my freedom of choice? If you've come to this country, it has a particular sense about it, a particular way of doing things, and I'm being diplomatic for YouTube's sake. And that has to be respected. This all goes into the argument of, what it is to be here, what it is to be part of this, and it has to be protected. Now, I want to show you something here. This is the Bill of Rights, an excerpt out the Bill of Rights. So the English Bill of Rights, 1689, asserts that no foreign prince, person, prelate, state, or Protestant have any jurisdiction, power, or authority within the realm. This clause was designed to ensure English sovereignty, explicitly rejecting foreign, particularly papal, influence over the crown and the nation. So that part of the English Bill of Rights was actually put in to protect the state, to protect the English from outside external influence. Now, specifically, when those documents were written, and there's some stuff in the Act of Settlement as well, they were more worried about the Dutch than anything else, because they were getting positions of authority and power in this country, and then they were nicking all of our stuff and having it away. So that's what that was about initially, but the same principle applies, and we have to put a stop to this somewhere. I want to show you another thing that I was sent. This one is to do with horses, and it is a Muslim Sharia patrol on horseback chasing blokes down the roads with police help, no less. This isn't the Britain we fought for. When does this two-tier nonsense finally end? Now, if I blow this up bigger, we can see the scene. So you've got the old Bill there, and you've got a couple of people on horseback. They look like Shire horses by their feet. I'm willing to be standard corrected on that, but let's have a look, see what happens here.
Apparently they're allowed to chase people with horses. They just chase someone with an horse. They just chase people with horses. Are they part of Greater Manchester Police? How come they're not being nipped for chasing them people with horses then? They've just been chasing people with horses, officer. These have been chasing people with horses.
Morning, Instagram.
Whatever they want. Whatever they want, clearly.
Yeah, go start making up.
Clear, yeah. Clearly. They should be being nicked. Should be being nicked, officer. They've just been chasing people on horses. Why are they not being nicked?
With the greatest respect, what do you want me to do and pull him off the horse?
Yeah. What? If they had a Union Jack on, they'd be off the horse.
Well, I'm not going to pull someone off the horse, mate.
If they had a Union Jack on, you would.
So that was GMP. You heard that. That's the bloke identifying what part of England that was. It's insane, isn't it? Two fellas on horseback apparently pursuing somebody, yet again, some kind of patrol. And in that instance, you had old Bill present. With the greatest respect, I'm not going to pull someone off their horse. Why the hell not? If he's occasioning behaviour that's a breach of the peace, you pull him off and you put him behind the door. Why not? And you heard what the filmer at that particular piece said about it. Chances are he probably got nicked for asking the questions. It's absolutely insane, all of it. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share my stuff. I'll talk to you soon. Toodaloo.